champions take aim for Old Trafford and the Premiership. It's arch-rivals St Helens who stand in their way. The match referee for this vital first round of the Premiership is Russell Smith from Castleford. It's Old Trafford that beckons then for both Wigan and St Helens. St Helens, the holders of the Stones Bidder Premiership. This a repeat of the final of the past 2 years. St Helens in possession, but only just with Mike Riley, and Dennis Betts in with the first challenge of this match. Big game for the Saints. There's no Paul Loughlin, no David Lyon, but other than that, they're just about at full strength. The Wigan team is missing 4 of the Challenge Cup finalists from last Saturday. Dwyer gets the ball back. Martin with the left foot will clip it over the halfway line, and it will be picked up by Paul Aitchison. Let's confirm the teams for you. Wigan have Aitchison at full-back, Panapa, Connolly, Mather, Offiah, Botica and Edwards, who's captain today. Dean Bell is injured. Skerrett, Hall, Cowie, Betts, Farrell and Clark. And on the bench, it's Joe Lydon and Mick Cassidy. And the coach, Graham West, for the first time since John Dorahy's demise on Tuesday. Wigan are on the halfway line with Farrell, aiming for their Old Trafford Premiership final place again after their league and cup double for the 5th year in a row. This is the last tackle for them. Hall back to Edwards, who just drops it over the top of the St Helens defence, and a slip there from Riley.
Martin Offiah encroaching the 10. Must stand back the 10 metres. Mike Riley, even though he slipped. You see the referee Russell Smith shouting to Martin Offiah. You see quite clearly that he didn't stand 10 metres away.
So the Saints team for you now: Hunt, Riley, Rapati, Vivas, Sullivan, Martin and Griffiths. And the forwards, Dannett, Dwyer, Mann, Joint, Pickavance and Cooper, the captain. On the bench, Chris Morley and John Harrison. 2 forwards, the coach is Eric Hughes. St Helens, who won the Premiership in glorious fashion last May against Wigan at Old Trafford, the Wembley of the North, by 10 points to 4. They're having to do it tough this year, though. It's the champions, Wigan. Good tackle there from Dennis Betts on John Griffiths. The champions, Wigan, against 8th placed St Helens.
That will set the scene there, the tackle from Dennis Betts. Crunch time. He really has bounced back to top form, the second rower.
George Mann in possession, gets the ball away in the tackle to Bernard Dwyer, but nowhere for him to go. That's the last tackle for Saints. Martin again with that left foot, drills it this time all along the ground and finds touch. That's a good kick from Tommy Martin.
Well placed. He gave himself plenty of room too. Split the defenders. Talented player, Tommy Martin.
Indeed so, playing standoff. He was in the Oldham side in the 1992 Second Division final against Sheffield. Scored 2 goals that day. Big crowd inside Central Park, and they're just holding their breath almost, waiting for this match to really explode. Wigan against St Helens, of course, always one of the high spots of the calendar, no matter what the competition.
Well, Tira Party took all the time in the world to get away there, helped by Chris Joynt. But it was Rapati that was deemed responsible for holding down.
Kelvin Skerrett with his first run. He was met by Pickavance on the halfway line. Still manages to just get into St Helens territory. Martin Hall is the dummy half, and he is Andrew Farrell. Good tackling by Dwyer and Pickavance. It's Hall again. Misses out Clark and finds Neil Cowie. Cowie straight at Chris Joynt.
Well, both sides are very tentative. They're just feeling their way into this game. Really, it's going to take a clean break to lift the spirits of the players and the crowd, I feel. Just going through the motions at the moment.
4 minutes gone, 0-0. And a penalty there to Wigan. George Mann would not allow Dennis Betts to get to his feet after that tackle was completed.
The man claiming that he was caught up in there. A few words from referee Russell Smith. It's the second occasion, 2 penalties, that's driven Wigan well and truly into the St. Helens half, and surely they'll go for the 2 points when you've got a man like Frano Botica in your side.
And that they will do. Be a vital early 2 points for Wigan as well. Just set the scoreboard ticking over. Botica, the man who has managed 161 goals this season, 6 drop goals, 10 tries for a total of 368 points. Prolific is the only word you can use with statistics like that. So 5 minutes gone, 0-0, but will that scoreline change with this penalty from Botica? It's certainly within his range. On its way. Has a chance, but he's missed the first one of the afternoon. And he always likes to make sure the first one goes over, just to increase his confidence and that of his team.
You could see the concentration etched on his face. That's play on, it came off Clark's fingers.
And went backwards, Clark picks it up and then runs it straight in to the charging Bernard Dwyer, and Clark's head shot back. Perhaps that will lift both players and crowd, because it has been quite a quiet opening 6 minutes, and amazing really, with so much at stake.
That was a great kick and chase by St. Helens, and that is a strong tackle. George Mann really putting the power behind it.
Kelvin Skerrett felt the full weight of that. Martin Hall running from dummy half. Vivas has him.
That's good work from the markers there. You could see the hooker Bernard Dwyer. He was a second marker. He went straight through. Really went into his opposite, Martin Hall.
Beautiful summer's day here at Central Park. Dennis Betts has been injured in that tackle. Sean Edwards was a little dart forward, just signed a new 3-year deal here at Central Park. Bounces into the arms of Mike Riley, the diagonal kick, and Barry John Mather was there to bring Riley down.
It was amazing there. You could see Sean Edwards, he just did a little bit of a dummy and strolled through the two would-be defenders from Saints. Nice little kick through.
Captain for the day, Sean Edwards. Dean Bell out injured. Here's Andy Dannett. Dwyer to Cooper, and now to Mann, and Cooper takes over once more. Connolly with the tackle. Gary Connolly, who scored a try against Wigan in last year's Premiership final for St. Helens. And a Dwyer, good strong run, met by Cowie.
Good run from the hooker there, but there was great defence by Wigan. They forced him right out wide. There was just nowhere to go.
The kick downfield. Aitchison collects it, 8 metres from his own line. Back in the side after injury. Full back, of course, in last year's final. He has missed the last 5 before today. The strange atmosphere around Central Park, Steve-O. This match, everybody waiting for it to explode. That's good running from St. Helens and good tackling.
Well, both defences are on top. They're moving up very quickly indeed. And it's not the referee's fault either. Russell Smith is taking them well back the full 10. Just needs something to spark it. It's bubbling at the moment. Will it boil up?
It might here with Connolly. Lovely run. They're all after him. Sullivan is trying to track him down and gets to him. Botica was moving up and a fire was on his inside too. Wigan want to play the ball quickly, but Connolly has dropped it, and it's the knock-on that's gone against him.
Well, Connolly doesn't like it. Neither does the crowd. They thought that Anthony Sullivan was impeding. Certainly seemed to be getting involved and pushing him down. But Gary Connolly definitely lost the football. Bad mistake. That was the first clean break.
Here's one now for St. Helens, led by Griffiths, who has got Sullivan with him. Has Sullivan got the legs? Oh, that's a great ankle tap by Panafa. Panafa took his ankles and Botica finished him off.
Super dive from Panafa, just clicked the heel. And that did the rest. You can see it there. He was flying for the corner. But it was beautiful work by St. Helens. Cooper, they worked the blind side. But what a great run, but what a great tackle from that man.
Edwards feeds the scrum. Those two breaks had alerted the crowd to the fact that there is a Wigan Saints match going on in front of them. Cooper and Clark tangling. Wigan in possession with Panapa. Good tackling by Saints. Viva's leading the way then. Hall to Cowie.
Well, those two breaks would have built the confidence from either side. As we mentioned before, it was just bubbling along, wasn't it? Now it's exploded.
Long ball. Betts picks it up. He's cornered by Martin. Martin brings him down. It's the last tackle here for Wigan. They're still inside their own quarter. Botica has to hack it downfield now. Is that going to sail out on the full? It is. The ball will come back to where the kick was taken.
That was great work from Tommy Martin. You could see that he applied the pressure, and that was enough to put Frano Botica to make sure that he miscued, and it's Saints on the move.
It was on the last tackle. It's the automatic turnover. Joint for the dive for the line. And he's just held up underneath the post, so close to the first try. Edwards and Neil Cowie were there. Edwards gets a boot to it, hacks it back 10 metres. Cooper picks up. Back to 0, 6 to go here for St Helens. Big pressure, they're 10 metres short of the line. Dwyer to Griffiths. Griffiths going through, getting the pass away to Pickavants, who must score, and does! Ian Pickavants with the first try of this Premiership first round.
Super play from Jonathan Griffiths. He runs at the angle and throws the dummy. You can see Barry John Mather had gone for the man and just sweep the ball out. Good support play by the second rower, Pickavants, and they fully deserved that. And it all came about from that pressure they applied on Frano Botica kick. But look at the dummy there. The sliding defence went across and Martin Hall couldn't get to him. Pickavants in for 4, and now the crowd erupts. Long ball out wide. Watch John Mather. You've got to have the sliding defence come across. It was Betts that missed it, and this man made them pay. 4 points.
So Ian Pickavants, the second row forward who scored a hat-trick in the 68-0 rout of Leeds last month, gets this match off the mark in terms of scoring. 4-0 the Saints lead. Tommy Martin has the kicking responsibility again today. All the points, you may remember, here at Central Park in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup. Oh, but he hooked that one, or was it a slice? I suppose if you were driving off from the first tee, that would be a wild slice.
Notice how Griffiths runs through the gap, and you can see Barry John Mather has gone forward, and the sliding defence from Betts doesn't come through. It's enough. You've got to take him out. He missed him, and that was enough to send the big second rower in for the 4 points. What a great start, and what a great finish.
Good stuff from Pickavants, but Martin with the conversion attempt was way, way off the mark. 4-0. Riley just waits for it to bounce, and then Mather pounces with the tackle. Here's Rapati, who was our guest, remember, at Castleford on Friday night. Was looking forward to this one. Seat is booked on the plane, but he hopes that this won't be his last match of the British season before he joins John Money at Auckland Warriors. Griffiths couldn't get away from Hall. Back from Cooper to Martin again, left-footed. Splits the difference between Aitchison and O'Fire, and the ball takes a nasty bounce. The Wigan full-back retreats to his own posts to pick up. And then is clobbered by those two, Dannett and Pickavants.
Excellent tactics from St Helens. Another long kick from Tommy Martin, but it's the chasing game that's impressed. That's what it takes. You must run through, apply that pressure, and perhaps hope that there's a mistake.
Sam Panapa on the wing today, wearing 2. Wigan having trouble getting out of their own quarter at the moment. This is good tackling and good tactics from the Saints. Can Farrell take them out of danger? Not this time. Last tackle here for Wigan. Only 23 metres from their own line. It's back with Edwards. His kick over the top into the arms of Alan Hunt. unceremoniously by Neil Cowie. Here's Pickavance again. Dwyer, the acting halfback. Martin to Jonathan Griffiths. And Rapati is through the gap. Mike Riley is there, and Riley was actually tackled then by Rapati as he fell. But Riley has injured himself. Mather has called immediately for assistance.
Barry John Mather just pulled on, pushed Rapati towards Riley. They did collide, but it was a super pass from Jonathan Griffiths that sent the Kiwi centre flying through the gap. And Riley looks to be in a lot of pain. I think the contact with perhaps the shoulder on the knee. See how Riley twists as he goes down on the tackle.
And they're very concerned about Mike Riley. Mather just calling for assistance as soon as the St Helens winger went down. And it is that right knee, by the looks of things. Now they're also taking a refreshing drink. There'll be plenty of those today. It's a very warm afternoon. But Riley goes off, and young Chris Morley comes on. Meanwhile, Saints in possession. Vivas, that's good tackling though by Panapa.
He read it well, didn't he? He just came in at the right moment. Timing was spot on.
Huge kick from Martin. Richardson's underneath it and spills it. It bounced off the post. Oh, but he just manages to recover in time. So close.
Well, Aitchison didn't position himself very well indeed. I could see what he was trying to do. You can see by the long shadows that if he'd have turned around, he would have been facing into the sun. He did the right thing that way, but when you're trying to catch the ball that's going away from you, it is very difficult indeed. Normally very strong with the hands is Paul Aitchison. And he just recovered in time, but what a super kick.
He came back off the post too and caused all sorts of problems for Wigan. But it has been a very bright start here for St Helens, despite the fact that they've lost Mike Riley.
A couple of times, the St Helens attack, they found the gap out wide. Bit of problems in the Wigan defence with Gary Connolly and Barry John Mather. Let's not forget that Gary Connolly has been playing in the full-back position over the last few weeks. It may take them a little while to settle into their defensive pattern.
Done it with the drive. He loses the ball, but it went backwards. Russell Smith just checks with the touch judge that play can go on and confirms that he can. Here's Martin to Griffiths. Now this is Cooper. Cooper looking for support. It arrives from Pickavance, who picks out George Mann. Mann tried to fling the pass into the arms of Morley and instead only found the field, and a fire has hacked it down. The ball spinning precariously for Alan Hunt, but he just managed to apply the brakes and wheel that ball in.
Well, I know Martin Fire is very fast, but I think he took the wrong option there. Possession would have been more vital. He could have dropped on that football. And even if he had just left it, he would have gone out into touch. They would have had the head and feet at the scrum.
Chris Joint with this run. It's a great run too. And he's through Aitchison, but he's not away from Connolly. Tremendous run from the second row though. But Connolly again with those defensive qualities shining for all to see. That's a mile forward from Griffiths to Sullivan.
Well, all that good work just wasted. Just panicked there to get the ball away.
And it's Connolly again, Steve-O, who's making the tackle.
Beautiful break there by Chris Joint. But you can see that having a lot of problems out wide in this defence when the second row can get through, and it was Connolly that had to come back and save the day. But the big second rower really took the full-back Paul Aitchison on and beat him with speed out wide.
Going up to 19 minutes gone, it has been an excellent start by St Helens. They lead here by 4 points to 0.
Well, the thing that's also lacking from this Wigan outfit is that we are not seeing the big forward rushes that we're used to. Skerritt and Cowie, Betts, Farrell and Clark, we really have seen none of them yet.
Obviously, the win at Wembley will have taken its toll on Wigan. They will have been doing a bit of partying, but with the change of coach in midweek, I know that everybody in that Wigan dressing room will want to impress for the sake of Graham West, the new man in charge. But St Helens here are aiming to win at Wigan for the first time in 5 years. And ominously for Wigan, it was a Premiership tie in the first round then, which they won 4-2 in 1989. And they have quite a record in the Premiership over those 8 matches. 6 victories to 1 and 1 draw. So this is no new territory for St Helens. But having finished 8th, if they want to get to Old Trafford and retain their Premiership, they're going to have to do it the hardest possible way. Cooper, was he using 2 or 3 players as a shepherd there?
Not according to the referee, Russell Smith, but you can see this Wigan defence, they're just hanging back a little bit. They have not got the same venom as we've seen so far this season. A little bit lacklustre at the moment, but full credit to Saints. They're playing a good football.
And another high kick from Martin, but this time far too much length on it. That was the left foot of Martin. Didn't quite have the radar tuned in.
He'd be happy with that. He knows that it's allowed Wigan to get off the hook again. But we have not seen the real forward rushes that have become synonymous with this Wigan outfit.
And that may be why Mike Cassidy is preparing to come on for Wigan. Just waiting to be given his opportunity. Had a big impression, of course, at Wembley when he came on as a substitute. Mather finds Edwards. Cowie is the runner, short little pass from Edwards. But it's great defence, this, from St Helens, it really is. Botica drops the ball over the top, arrows it towards the corner. Morley will pick it up. The St Helens substitute, by the way, it's his 4th successive appearance in the team, and he is normally a second row forward, but having to play on the wing today because Mike Riley is off with knee problems. The Wigan crowd hushed and waiting for their team to start hitting the straps.
That was better defence there. Andy Farrell really going into it. And once again, it's a big second row of Farrell. He's leading the way.
Here's George Mann for St Helens. Rumours linking him with a move to Leeds at the end of this season. Martin, left-footed downfield. Good kick too.
Good tactics. Right into the open space. They really are playing the right sort of game. It's very warm out there. No point in just keeping it in your own half when you've got the quality of a kicker as Tommy Martin.
Kelvin Skerritt makes his way to the sidelines. And Mick Cassidy will come on for the Great Britain International. Cassidy, it was a beautiful run that produced Martin Afaya's second try at Wembley last Saturday. Graham West will be looking for more of the same from Cassidy in the remainder of this first half.
That's a good move by the new coach, Graham West. He realises that the forwards aren't working.
Hannaford with a lovely run.
But how many times this season have we seen Mick Cassidy come on and turn the tide? Really has had a super season.
Oh, that's good play from Cooper at the play of the ball. Aitchison was caught cold there, and Cooper just raked the ball back.
You're allowed to do it once the ball has been placed and they're all offside. Russell Smith had plenty to choose from. See the finger pointing, you or you. Doesn't really matter. I've got you all.
Neil Cowie calling for a drink. It is very, very warm out there. And St Helens, needless to say, with that penalty from bang in front of the sticks, but some, what, 31 metres out? Martin will have a shot at goal. Saints leading 4-0.
Well, they've got the tactics right, haven't they, Eddie? It's been a super opening by St Helens, using the long kicking game to their advantage, and we're going to find it difficult to get out of their quarter.
Here's Martin with the penalty attempt, and he just pushes it wide of the post, and he will be annoyed about that. It was a golden opportunity, and we saw how vital on Friday night the penalty miss from Paul Bishop was for Halifax against Castleford. I wonder whether Martin will rue that, and that moment will come back to haunt him. Good chase from Wigan, from the dropout. Hunt had nowhere to go. Dwyer to Vivers. He helps it wide to Rapati. Rapati steps inside Connolly, but Connolly just hangs on to his bootlaces.
That'll be a penalty. Connolly had a second go at that. Second bite of the cherry, pulling back. But Connolly under a lot of pressure. There you see it.
Just tried to drag the boot off him completely, didn't he?
But once again, Eddie, we see that break coming out wide in the centres. A lot of trouble, Wigan in defence.
Griffiths to Cooper, to Pickavance on the charge. Ball inside to Joint, nowhere to go. Edwards was facing him, so he gave it to Cooper, who in turn gives it to Dannett. Dannett lumbers into the Wigan quarter. 10 metres short of the line. It's with Dwyer, who goes on the other side. Wigan working hard in defence now. More pressure here from St Helens. Griffiths will run this one before he is all wrapped up by Martin Hall. Very able deputy for Martin Dermott he is. This is George Mann. Mann gets the ball away brilliantly to Griffiths, who finds Cooper. Oh, Mather went for the intercept. It's bounced back, 6 to go. They might not need them. There'll be another 6 there. Or will the ball find touch? It will. Saints so close.
2 intercept chances gone down. First Barry John Mather, then we see Martin afire. You can see the substitute Chris Morley saying, I can't believe it. That was try time. He took the gamble, that's all he could do. It was 2-on-1, and Martin afire saves the day, but again those gaps are appearing.
Can Alan Hunt expose them? Not this time. Aitchison Mather, and Hunt takes it to himself, and he's got a penalty from it because Wigan have moved off the mark.
Not standing square at the play of the ball. Move to one side. Well, take your pick. Russell Smith wasn't happy with it, and that the player had not stood square. Paul Aitchison deemed to be the culprit. But this has been tremendous play by St Helens. Swinging the ball out wide, they're spinning in the tackle, and they really are catching this Wigan outfit cold.
John Harrison is jogging on, and it's Ian Pickavance that he will replace. The man, of course, who has scored the 4 points by which St Helens lead. A change of kicker here because Tommy Martin has been receiving a bit of attention, so Bernard Dwyer, left-footed from bang in front of the sticks, increases that St Helens advantage to 6 points. What a good half this has been so far for the men from Knowsley Road. The Premiership holders, of course.
Great start for the Saints. They're quite happy with it. They would perhaps be looking for more points to go into the half-time break. Still plenty of time in this half. But Wigan really do have to sort their defence out. Normally we see the likes of Sean Edwards coming in at the angle to force him down the middle, but I'm afraid that is yet to be seen.
St Helens then in possession with their substitute Chris Morley, leading here by 6 points to 0. Only one other team, Bradford, in 1979 qualified for the Premiership final from 8th place. And Eric Hughes, the Saints coach, was a finalist in 1978, 82 and 83 with Widnes, so he knows what it takes to get there. Saints in possession with Griffiths to Mann. They attack that left-hand side again. Good tackling though by Wigan. Downstairs we go, and Bill Arthur is talking to Saints' Mike Riley.
Mike, that knee injury when you got it looked really severe, but what's the situation now?
Well, the doc's had a look at it, and obviously Jeanette's had a look at it. We seem to think it was dislocated at first, but at the moment it doesn't feel too bad. Go back on.
It's been a great start for Saints.
Yeah, we're doing everything right. The defence is right, the kicking game's brilliant at the moment, and we're just putting them under so much pressure.
Presumably being Premiership holders, you were well fired up for this.
Oh yeah, well it was a decision. This could be our last game, or we could have another 2 and pick the Premiership up again this year. We could be the only team to do that. It could be a record.
They have to do it tough, as we've been saying all afternoon, and they come no tougher than Wigan in the first round and here at Central Park, but they are sticking to their task gainfully, these St Helens players, and that's the last tackle in this set of 6 for Wigan. They can't get out of their own half at the moment. other than by the boot of Edwards. And it's now with Morley again, the substitute. Just takes a fire on, but a fire this time is able to bring him down.
Nice kick from Edwards, and just one man there. It was Martin Fire that went up quickly, but Wigan now, surely they must move up in a straight line and try to keep Saints penned in their own half. It's been all St Helens so far.
It has, and that was mirrored by our possession statistic. Here's Vivas. Does well to keep that ball alive. Cooper turns the ball in field to Solomon. It's great chasing by Panapa. Griffiths, they want to get on with it quickly. That bounced off the legs of Dannett, and Joint was stood in front of him, and he was offside.
Well, they wasted a golden opportunity there. It wasn't the best pass, was it? It was definitely offside. The Wigan defence was walking backwards. Quick play of the ball, that's what it was from St Helens. But it caught their own players out as well. They threw away a golden opportunity.
Darrell deposits the penalty into touch. Crowd over on that far side, basking in the sunshine here at Central Park. Huge crowd has turned out to see this first round of the Stonesborough Premiership. And the majority of them not enjoying what they're seeing at the moment, but the St Helens supporters in the crowd absolutely delighted. But can Wigan, as they have done so often, score just before half-time? Connolly juggling with it, and it's Aitchison who manages to retain possession for them. Now Mather, good tackling though again from St Helens. Here's O'Fire, who gets it away to Clark. Clark taking it into the St Helens quarter. Last tackle. What can Wigan conjure up here? Edwards went to throw the pass, then threw it long, and the referee says he was using the runner as a foil and has pulled Wigan back for obstruction.
Delayed the pass, and you can see the man run through, take two St Helens players out. Good decision from the referee, Russell Smith. Neil Cowie was the runner that he used. Runs across. Now, if Cowie would have just stopped, it would have been okay, but he continued through, made contact with the two St Helens players. Therefore, referee Russell Smith, rightly so, deemed that those players had no chance to get to Edwards.
Referee just holds the clock up briefly while we dispose of the second football that's bouncing around on the pitch. Time's back on. St Helens will restart, and here is John Harrison. Rockley is warming up again on the touchline, just testing his knee out. Thought it was dislocated, they said, when he came off, but obviously, if it was, it shot straight back without too much damage. St Helens in possession, 10 metres inside that Wigan half of the field. Dwyer with a scampering run. He finds his captain, Cooper, who gives it to Martin. Here's Cooper again. Now Griffiths. Little chip over the top from Griffiths. George Mann was following up. Great play from Mann. There's Alan Hunt, and here's another Saints try. Brilliant play from St Helens. The chip over the top confused the Wigan defence completely, and Saints following up in the shape of Mann, the prop forward, and Hunt, the try scorer.
It's all about using your brains in rugby league football, and this was superb play. With Griffiths, he could see that there was no sweeper there. The chip over the top, George Mann was onside, and the support was there. And that man, Alan Hunt, in for a great try. Well created, quick play of the ball, Cooper out wide. Thinking all the time, no sweeper in attendance. Nice bounce for Mann. There was nothing that a Fire could do there. Aitchison, no chance. Skips in, there's a fullback, Alan Hunt, and receives the praise, fully deserved.
Loved the minute, didn't he, Alan Hunt? 5 tries in the last 4 matches. Dwyer again from bang in front, and the lead increases. 12-0, the Saints are ahead, and are the champions about to bow out of the Premiership.
You can see there that there is no sweeper. Acres of space. It was a beautiful kick. The Saints players were onside. Good support play. He loves doing this. Nice 4 points. Give me the praise, please.
George Mann, who was following up the little chip over the top, and it was Mann's pass inside to Hunt that produced that try in the end. So what an opening 35 minutes St Helens have had here at Wigan. Just let's emphasise once again that the last time St Helens won here was in the first round of the Premiership 5 years ago, but that's a big blunder from Dannett. Wigan are in possession now as we approach half-time, 5 minutes away from the break, and they need a try quickly, do the champions. Clark with the drive will try and provide the opportunity. Good defence from St Helens. They've shown a lot in attack. They now have to show in defence. Cowie, he was standing still though when he received that pass from Edwards, and the collision forces the ball out of his grasp, and Betts is there to pick up the pieces.
Well, that was the problem. They did the crisscross move. Edwards came back on the angle, but there was just no runners.
Just 10 metres from the line. This is Cassidy. Cassidy looked like he was using Betts as a shield, but it's the last tackle here for Wigan. Now Edwards. Short ball to Connolly. Ball bounces, comes back one way or the other, and St Helens have it back in the end, courtesy of Dannett, who caused all that confusion with the drop ball in the original movement.
He'll be relieved as well with Andy Dannett. They could have paid the price there. But this Wigan side are well and truly out of sorts, and that's been brought about by some very good tackling from Saints. They've moved up quickly, and at this point in time, Saints are the side that look as though they want to win. Wigan look like a side that expect to win. Well, there'll be plenty of words said from their new coach, Graham West, at the half-time break, and they need them.
Better defence this from Wigan. That's 5 tackles gone. The Saints are still in their own half of the field. It's now with Martin, who tries to get away from Edwards, and he just clips it downfield. That's going to be too strong though, so Wigan will start with a tap on their own 20-metre mark. Put one super kick in, didn't he, in this first half? That caused all sorts of confusion for Paul Aitchison, but nothing since. Here is the Wigan full-back now.
There's not too much of a problem with the fact that the ball did go dead in goal, especially with the way that Saints are tackling. And Wigan find themselves in a very familiar position that's been seen all through this game so far, and that's within their own half, finding it very difficult to breach this St Helens defence.
Bit of a schmozzle going on the ground. Cooper and Rapati not allowing the Wigan man to get to his feet. Penalty Wigan, they've taken it quickly. They want to get on with it. They know they shouldn't be turning around with a 12-0 deficit against them. Here's Hall to Edwards. Two minutes now to half-time, plus stoppages. Here's Cassidy. That was Hall to Clark. Bottiger's gone into the dummy half roll. He finds Sean Edwards, and Edwards trying to find something for Connolly. There's a gap for Connolly, over the top to a fire. Try 33 of the season for Martin Afire. Just what Wigan wanted up to half-time. St Helens just easing off the pressure perhaps, left the gap, and Afire shot in.
Super play from Edwards, long ball out wide. It's a lovely pass, just delays it there. You can see how he pulled the prop forward George Mann out of the line. There was nothing that Chris Morley could do. Afire raised the arm, send it wide. But this is great play. See how he just holds, hesitates, little dummy. That was enough to pull Mann out of the line. Connolly came steaming onto it. One of the few occasions that the Wigan players have actually run onto the ball at full speed, and that was well taken by Martin Afire.
Martin Afire, 2 wonderful tries last Saturday, and that's the first of his haul today. 33 now for the season. The question being asked in rugby league is, can Martin Afire overhaul St John Ellis as the game's leading try scorer this season? The gap between them now is just 7 touchdowns. And they say it's been a bad season for Martin Offiah. He's only scored 33 times. Frano Botica, an important conversion attempt. He's got the mark this time. So Wigan, from a match that looked like it was running away from them, they're now very much back in the hunt. 12-6. Lovely ball from Connolly that produced the try for his winger. We're in stoppage time. Referee Russell Smith holding up the clock. Saints are in no hurry to restart this half. They'd like to go in with a 6-point advantage.
Well, it'll be a relieved new coach, Graham West, I'm sure, because Wigan were well and truly out of sorts, and they've salvaged 6 points that perhaps they didn't look as though they were going to get.
Botica dabs the ball over the top. He was taken out by Harrison in back play. Russell Smith looking, deciding to let play go on. Saints on the attack with Vivers. Vivers is just grounded 10 metres short of the line. Russell Smith had a long, hard look at his touch judge about that. The referee says that bounced off Dwyer's ankle and they can play on.
Nice kick through, but you could see there quite clearly Frano Botica ran into the man. That's a wasted kick.
Connolly, against his former team, of course, produced the try for Offiah that has dragged Wigan up off the canvas and has given them hope, and they've started to run with a bit more purpose and power. There's the half-time siren. It's Wigan 6, St Helens 12. Alan Hunt with the second try for St Helens. Thought that he'd given them a 12-0 half-time lead, but Gary Connolly and Martin Offiah combined for the Wigan try that gives us a real match in the second half.
You're watching Sky.
It's half-time then here at Central Park, and Wigan 6, St Helens 12. So Wigan, courtesy of that Martin Offiah try, really have thrown themselves a lifeline for the second 40 minutes. Pickavance and Hunt with the 2 tries for St Helens, and at the start of this second half Ian Pickavance will return. John Harrison will depart the scene. Alan Hunt with that second try, giving St Helens a 12-0 advantage, but the former Saint, Gary Connolly, creating the try for Martin Offiah, which has given us the prospect of a fantastic next 40 minutes in this Stones Bit of Premiership first-round tie at Central Park. Glorious weather, packed crowd, match underway. 40 minutes between St Helens and Glory, and of course St Helens, the Premiership holders. There's Pickavance, number 12, straight in with the first tackle on his opposite number, Andy Farrell. Just to confirm that substitution for you, at the start of this second half, Pickavance returns to the action, scorer of the Saints' first try. Cassidy with the run for Wigan. Still deep in their own half of the field. Can Cowie get them out of there now? It's good tackling again from Saints. Clark on the halfway line, and it's Joint and George Mann who bring him down. Hall to Edwards. Little clip over the top from Edwards. Winger Morley is there, substitute. Bounces, bounces, and eventually he picks it up.
Nice kick there from Sean Edwards. Just enough power. Substitute Chris Morley was surrounded by Wigan shirts there.
Well, Steve Graham West, the Wigan coach, has come up to the Erie here to watch what's going on. Graham, your first 40 minutes in charge, what do you think?
Well, we haven't had much possession in that first 40. We've made a lot of basic errors. I think we need to look at our game and get it right for the second half.
It's a very big 40 minutes that's coming up for you and this team.
It certainly is. They know the task, and they've got the sun behind them.
Sun on their backs, and we'll see whether they'll make it all the way to the semi-finals. Graham West, the new Wigan coach. This is his first match in charge. They certainly got the lifeline thrown to them by Offiah. Can Sam Panapa produce something now? And of course, after Old Trafford, they then face the World Club Challenge and the Brisbane Broncos. You can see it live on Wednesday the 1st of June at 10 in the morning. We're exclusively and live from Brisbane. Rugby League right the way through the summer here on Sky Sports, the Big League channel. State of Origins, all three of them live. The Test match against the French for Australia live, and the Grand Final live in September, as well as that World Club Challenge. Now then, this is Farrell. Gets the ball away to Mather, and the forward pass to O'Fire.
Just inches forward there. Barry John Mather getting the ball away. But a lot better run there from the big second rower, Andy Farrell. I'm sure the message would have gone out to the players in the half-time break from their coach, Graham West. Step it up a gear, the forwards especially.
Russell Smith unhappy with that scrum. So Griffiths feeds it again, then gets it away to Martin, who finds Rapati. Rapati slips the ball nicely to Martin. Here's Vivas and Sullivan, and he gets away from Panapa, then cuts in field. Vivas is there. The ball outside to Martin. This is going to be a try for Sullivan. He touches now. Foot in touch. Foot in touch. And St Helens know they've blown the chance.
Well, it all started from a neat pass from Rapati, but look at that. Sullivan just lost his bearings. A bombed opportunity. Not just inches in it. His foot well and truly out and over that line.
It's something, Steve, that I don't know he will not want to be reminded of, but it's exactly that corner that in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup, he dropped the ball when he was over the line in the act of scoring.
The big problem with that is that Tommy Martin took the safe way and was not selfish. But if he'd have realised that would have happened, I feel that Tommy Martin would have probably got over.
So St Helens with a chance there really to emphasise their superiority on this match. But it was as clear as daylight that Sullivan had got a foot in touch, and here comes Botica now, but Sullivan's there, and they shepherd him out, courtesy of a bit of weight from Vivas and also from Shane Cooper. That's good defence.
Just that extra push there from Vivas. Just got the shoulder on the line. Nice defence from the Australian Phil Vivas. Been around a while now at St Helens. He knows what it's all about. He knows what pressure is about too.
Griffith showed the ball to two colleagues and decided to take it himself, and then releases the pass to Cooper. Keeping the ball alive well, aren't they, the Saints? Rapati. This is Morley. No, he should never have done that. He should have played that properly and not tried to play it to himself. There was a man in front.
Yes. Phil Clark was standing square and in front. A big mistake. Well, the Saints side, they still keep throwing out the lifeline for Wigan. If they would have scored that, I feel sure it would have been dead and buried.
And they've done it again.
Well, just losing their marbles, losing the concentration. The big Kiwi, George Mann, pushes his opposite number, Neil Cowie, to the ground. Well, from nearly wrapping up the game, they find themselves desperately holding fort against this Wigan side.
It was Cowie's run that was met by Mann. A little verbals there between Cowie and Mann. This is Farrell with the run. He's a big lad for 18, is Andy Farrell. Martin Hall, Dennis Betts called for that. St Helens' defence is being examined here. Hall again scoops it off the ground to Edwards. Ball back inside to Botica. A little jinking run from Botica, halted by Chris Joint. So close, Wigan. 3 metres from that St Helens line. Connolly to Edwards. Oh, good defence though from Griffiths.
He read that well. He knew the ball was going to go back. It was a reverse pass, but Griffiths read it superbly.
There's the kick from Farrell. Diagonal. Morley's underneath it. Cassidy's there! And Cassidy scores the try! Cassidy, the substitute for his 4th try of the season. Great kick across the field by Farrell. 18-year-old to 20-year-old Cassidy, try.
Super sub Cassidy went straight for it. I'm afraid Chris Morley took all the time in the world to get to it. You'll see that when the kick is gone from the big second rower, Andy Farrell, it's got plenty of height to this one. Everyone was onside, but you'll see that Morley waits for it to drop down rather than going up to meet it. That man did, and super sub Cassidy takes it. All onside. You'll notice the substitute, Chris Morley, does not jump for it. Cassidy gets there first. They paid the price.
Mick Cassidy had quite an influence on the Challenge Cup final last Saturday. And he has had quite an influence on this match here this afternoon. Botica then can level the scores here. St Helens will be cursing their luck and cursing the chance that got away. Botica with the kick. The match is all square at 12 points each. And from being in the driving seat, St Helens suddenly now are going to have to fight for their lives.
You can see when Andy Farrell's about to put boot to ball, the Wigan players are well and truly onside. There's only Cowie that's standing in front. He did not make any attempt to move forward. But look for Cassidy. He jumps, gets there. Morley doesn't. 4 points. All square.
Yeah, level pegging here at Central Park. Early in the second half too. There's Farrell with the run. It was Farrell's kick that produced that try for Cassidy. So after all that good work from St Helens, and remember that try that went begging in the corner from Sullivan, St Helens are now up against it. Have they got the spirit to lift themselves again? Cassidy certainly has spirit. Cowie.
Well, what an amazing game rugby league can be. It looked all the world that St Helens were going to wrap this game up very early in the second half. Foot in touch, 2 penalties, and Wigan get back into a position and score.
The kick was from Edwards. Here is Sullivan. No way through for him this time. Panaper and Connolly. Now Hunt, puffing the cheeks out. Panaper again, just couldn't hang on to him, so Dennis Betts finishes him off. Dwyer, the dummy half. Griffiths turning and looking for the runners off him. Nobody was there.
It's a lot better defence this second half from Wigan, though. They realise they've got away with it when that try was disallowed. But you can see they're moving up now, forcing play down the middle.
That's a lovely ball from Cooper to Martin. Aitchison is weighing him up, but he delayed too long, Aitchison. And Martin with the try. Aitchison stood off, waited for Martin to commit himself, and Martin scampered in the corner.
Well, I well and truly put the mockers on this Wigan defence. It's a nice little run around the dummy. It was beautiful play there. And you can see Tommy Martin. He just holds back and then steps on the gas just at the right moment. The fullback Aitchison mistimed that. And number 6, Tommy Martin. It's a great play. Look at that. Cooper, the run around with Martin. It was Cassidy that just couldn't get to him. This is where they just put on the gas. Let's go. That is excellent rugby league football. And Martin has every right to smile. You beauty.
A message for all you viewers at home from Tommy Martin.
Sorry.
He enjoyed that moment, did Tommy Martin, and now Bernard Dwyer. Well, his previous 2 were bang in front of the sticks. This one way out on the touchline, and it isn't even close. 16-12 though. St Helens have got the character.
You see how the man, they do the run around there, and it drags the 2 defenders into them. Watch how they come into the player and Cooper, and that splits it. It was Clark that went right out on the loop, and that's what allowed the gap. and Martin took full advantage. Excellent play, all brought about by the run around with Cooper.
Yes. Just in case you didn't hear him first and second time, there he was again. 16-12. Vivas underneath that kick-off. Suddenly St Helens now have got their tails up after looking flat. At 12 all, they have a 4-point advantage. George Mann with the run. This one's got a long way to go yet. What twists and turns await us.
That really was a well-worked try, though. Using the brains, Shane Cooper and Martin to run around. It was beautiful to watch.
They're keeping the ball alive really well. That's Mann. His ball to Vivas. Vivas trying to do the same thing and get Sullivan away in the clear, but could only find touch.
Sam Panifer got a finger to that. This should be a St Helens head and feed.
And it is.
But you're right, Eddie, they really have been keeping this ball alive, St Helens. A little short pass that's delayed, dragging in the defence, is doing excellent.
Lydon has come on, and it's Paul Aitchison who goes off. Aitchison, the man who was skinned by Tommy Martin for the try. That's the last that he will play in this match for a little while anyway. He goes off, and the experienced head of Lydon, 30 caps for his country, comes on. Martin to Dannett. It wasn't forward, despite the screams from the Central Park terraces. Dwyer to Griffiths. Was Joint. The ball comes free, and it's a knock-on. It was not stolen by Lydon.
Good tackle by the substitute, Lydon. Really put the pressure on there. You can see as the elbow hit the ground, just lodged the ball away. Nice work from the substitute.
And who's rumoured to be on his way to pastures new at the end of this season, Joe Lydon. And here's another one who has been attracting interest from very many big league clubs, Sam Panifer. Edwards, though, has signed a 3-year deal. Botica still has a wee while to go on his contract also.
What a great tackle there from Phil Vivas.
Botica and Farrell. Throws it over the top to Lydon. Shows it to Panifer, calls him back inside. Farrell trying to get away from Dannett. We have some injury news apparently, and news of Paul Aitchison from Bill.
Well, the news of Paul Aitchison is that he's got his right knee heavily iced at the moment, and I think he took a knock as he tried to get that tackle in on Tommy Martin to prevent him going over just a few moments ago. Failed, of course. You can't help feeling, though, that maybe there's also a bit of tactics in it. Paul Aitchison, a young player, sending on the more experienced Joe Lydon just at a time when things are a little bit dodgy for Wigan.
The delayed pass there from Edwards. Big sender Barry John Mather not being able to take that. That is good defence again from Saints, making it heavy traffic.
The party with the run, and we are joined inside Central Park today by over 17,000 people to see this top match from the Stones Bidder Premiership. Old Trafford, of course, is the prize at the end of it. 2 weeks today. We'll be in the sunshine of Manchester, we hope. A fire. Now then, the man who scored a wonder try last week is not going to score a wonder try this week. Shane Cooper saw to that. Not in the 56th minute, anyway. Here's Martin Hall. That's a good ball to Cassidy. Good defence, though. Now Farrell. Joint and Cooper combined to bring the big 18-year-old down. Edwards. Botica. Edwards takes over. Betts was the runner. Gets the ball away to Connolly. Connolly stepping through the challenges. Gets the ball inside to Edwards. And Edwards for the corner. Sean Edwards, try number 19 of the season. 10 tries now in the last 10 games.
The Wigan captain of the day started it. He may as well finish it. Beautiful run around. You can see how they just hesitate. The delayed pass. The big second row of Pickavants went far too high on Betts. They missed Connolly. You can't afford to miss tackles like that. There was nothing Alan Hunt could do. And the man who's one of the best support players in the world, Shaun Edwards, sneaks in at the corner for a vital try. Here's a run around that just hesitated. The delayed pass there. Pickavants goes too high. You can't do that and expect to get away with it. It was the same there. Connolly, cool, calm and collected. Look at the legs go. He knows he's there. And what a vital try at a vital time.
The most decorated man in the game, Shaun Edwards. 32 winners' medals already. 33 if Wigan win at Old Trafford. And if Frano Bottiger kicks this from way out on the left-hand touchline, Wigan will hit the front for the first time this afternoon. We're all square just now at 16 all. If anyone can give Wigan the lead from a situation like this, it's Bottiger. It has a chance, but it just fades. So, level pegging, 16 points all.
You're watching Sky Sport.
16 all then at Central Park. Just about midway through this second half. Ball went into touch, but on the bounce. So it's a scrum down.
Not the best kick, but he gets away with it. Head and feet to Wigan. Now really, in these hot conditions, you're getting into the final quarter of this game, and I'm sure that fitness will play a huge part. How much did last week at Wembley take out of Wigan?
It must be warm. Phil Clark has taken the headgear off. Farrell couldn't get away from Vivas. Was finished off by Griffiths.
That's been another change in the Wigan tactics, Eddie, in the second half, is the fact that they're using the big fellas, Farrell and Betts, out wide, not down the middle like they were in the first half, where they were making no inroads into this St. Helens defence.
A great kick from Edwards. The chase was led by Edwards, but Hunt got away from him. But he didn't get away from Cassidy.
The crowd booing, they thought that Edwards had been obstructed to get to the play. Referee Smith would have nothing of it.
Dangerous play from St. Helens in their own quarter. Wigan piling in for the tackling. Here's Pickavants. It was a long time ago that he scored the first St. Helens try. Wigan trying to bundle him out of the field. Pickavants just went down, took the tackle. Here's Morley. Well, we've had some great entertainment, haven't we, this weekend? That classic match on Friday, Castleford and Halifax, and now this today between these two arch rivals. Level pegging at 16 all, joint with the drive upfield for St. Helens. Last tackle for them. It's now with Martin. Martin with the kick downfield. Underneath it is Connolly, who's moved into the full-back role. Here's a fire. Bit of space ahead of Martin, a fire. Time for the special. Maybe from Mather. Wigan enjoying the greater possession in this second half. It's an old cliche, Steve-O. Game of two halves.
Or four quarters.
Clark. There's no one running then for Phil Clark. He looked inside him. There was nobody there. Had to take the tackle. Edwards. Short ball to Betts. Farrell's calling for it infield. There is Betts. Doubles his way to the line. Try for Dennis Betts. And Wigan hit the front now for the first time. Missed last year's final. 2 tries in 92. 1 here in the first round of 94.
Well, it worked before, so let's do it again. The short pass from Edwards. but was it slightly forward? There's a lot of doubt about that, but it's not according to the referee Smith. But look at the dummy there. Alan Hunt can't believe it. The second rower, class all the way. Dennis Betts. But once again, the short, delayed pass from Edwards. See how he just sucked in Dwyer towards him. They went high on the big fella. Here's the dummy. See you later, Alan. Hunt went hunting the wrong way, and off he went, did Betts. Let's have another look. Let's slow it down, and whoa, that could have well have been brought back.
It wasn't, and Dennis Betts has registered his 5th try of the season. Frano Botica from bang in front, and the gap is 6 points. Wigan 22, St Helens 16. A significant moment, perhaps, the 62nd minute, as Wigan take the lead for the first time. So a talking point in this match, that little pass from Shaun Edwards to Dennis Betts, was it forward? Well, according to Russell Smith, it wasn't. That bounced off Andy Farrell's chest, and he was lucky to get away with that. And if he'd got a fingertip to it, that would have been a knock-on and a scrum down.
Not only that, Paniper was in front, and he just avoided being caught offside. That really would have put the cat amongst the pigeons. But it's amazing. Shaun Edwards been so quiet for most of this game, and then he just starts to take control. 2 magnificent short passes. That has changed this game in the space of 8 minutes.
Cowie will run this ball upfield now. Last tackle here for Wigan. Edwards, this time the kick over the top of Alan Hunt. Morley will come across from the wing to pick it up. Some substitutes news now from Bill.
St Helens want to take off Ian Pickavance there, big number 12, who has, I think, got an arm injury because he's had that arm in ice when he's been off before. And they want to bring back on big John Harrison, one of the biggest men in the game. In fact, we'll have them both out on the park, BJ Mather and John Harrison, 2 giants.
Indeed so. BJ 6'6", John Harrison 6'7". Joint. Trying to get through Paniper, Botica and Cowie there to bring him down.
Well, now it's the Saints' time to start throwing the ball about with a little bit more gay abandon. Oh, good tackle there. Clark put George Man under so much pressure. Took his eyes off the football at exactly the wrong moment. But that was brought about by the pressure there. You could see George Mann looking at the would-be tackler Phil Clark. That's a bad mistake for Saints.
St Helens, meanwhile, make the change. They bring John Harrison on and they take Ian Pickavance off. And Harrison straight into the scrum. Fed by Wigan, won by Wigan, of course, and this is Botica. Substitute Lydon, the dummy half, running on his own, but not far. 7 handling errors. Saints have made 4 of them. Long time between drinks for the St Helens players here at Central Park.
It's pretty warm out there. They're gulping in the air now. It's heavy going for them. It's very hot.
Connolly is dropped to the ground. We're getting a taste of summer rugby.
Is this a one-pointer?
No, Edwards hoists the bomb to test Hunt. Mathers there, it bounces into the arms of Betts. Back to Paniper. Paniper trying to go all the way, and he's, oh, I was going to say he's home. He spilled the ball as he was about to touch it down. But I think it was a tremendous tackle because he's still flat out. But Cassidy takes the substitute Morley out, man and ball.
Well, Paniper, he had the line at his mercy. As he reaches out, he loses control, but full credit to Saints. George Mann running away. They flipped the ball out wide. And interesting enough, the substitution, Chris Morley, who's playing on the wing, he broke away, and Clark was going to go through, and Cassidy said, get out of the way, he's mine. And the impact, you see the boot just sliding over the line.
It meant that Wigan had the head and feet of the scrum, and they're in possession again with Lydon. Botica, the dummy half. Here's Edwards. Pass from him to Connolly. He finds Betts. Betts is running strongly. Edwards is there! And Edwards underneath the posts. Sean Edwards, the little nod again.
Great play, the delayed pass. Connolly it was this time, the step. George Mann, he sucked in Jonathan Griffiths, and Dennis Betts. He's having a wow of a game out wide. And Sean Edwards, how many times has he got the ball back on the inside? Support play supreme. It was Connolly that held the ball this time. It was a superb pass. You can see how he sucked Griffiths in. And Edwards heading towards the line. He's got the hairstyle now. He wants to join the wooden tops. Come on, Noddy. Yes, 1, 2, 3.
Become a little trademark of Sean Edwards over the past couple of weeks of this season. I'm not sure he's been too pleased that he's just got a part in the wooden tops, but still.
Isn't Noddy in the wooden tops?
He might have been in your day, never in mine. Botica with the conversion. Edwards 4 becomes 6. And Wigan, as they do so often, have hit back and have taken control. Sean Edwards, tremendous try. So Saints restart, trailing by 28 points to 16. Farrell will run this ball out.
Oh, there's been something on the off. Referee Russell Smith, he's looking towards Shane Cooper. I think it was Dennis Betts. It's sin bin for the captain, Shane Cooper. He definitely took Dennis Betts out when he did not have the football. Now there's the big fella Farrell going through, and you'll see Russell Smith look to his left. And that is when the Saints skipper, Shane Cooper, takes Betts. Betts had his back to the action. And referee Russell Smith quick to see that. There's the big fella going through, and Cooper definitely bounced him down. Good refereeing.
And so Shane Cooper goes in the sin bin. He has 10 minutes to cool his heels, and St Helens then, trailing by 12 points, are now down to 12 men. It's Cassidy with the run, the dust coming up off the ground as that tackle was completed. Martin Hall is the dummy half. This now is Edwards. Long ball from him. All the way through for Neil Cowie. Tackling by John Harrison and Chris Joint. Wigan rolling forward again. It's a lovely ball over the top. They were looking for Panapa, and Harrison picked up the bouncing ball. The Wigan crowd think it's a penalty to their side for offside against Harrison.
There's little he could do there. That's the replay of the Shane Cooper incident that earned him 10 minutes into the sin bin. But poor substitute John Harrison caught offside. There was very little he could do.
The referee Russell Smith has ruled that he's taking the first knock on. That was by Wigan, so it's Saints head and feet at the scrum. Griffiths gets the possession. George Mann clapping his hands, the dummy half. Saints certainly won't be throwing the towel in just yet. Here goes Alan Hunt, great run. Gets away from Dennis Betts, looking for the support, but Alan Hunt is going for the corner on his own, then tosses the ball infield to Rafati, and it was a good job for Wigan that Barry John Mather was there.
What a great run from the fullback Alan Hunt there. And Dwyer going close. They're not going to throw the towel in at this point.
So close, St Helens, untidy at the play the ball though, and Wigan get the ball back. Neil Cowie will drag Wigan away from their own line. Good run, this from Panapa. Steps out of one challenge, but couldn't get away from the next from Beavers.
really has been a transformation, this Wigan side, in the second half. They were really on the rack when St Helens missed that opportunity, when Anthony Sullivan put his foot in touch. They really would have controlled the game there, but full credit to Wigan coach Graham West. Since the half-time break, he's sent things out wide. The big forwards, Betts and Farrell, are having a field day out wide there.
And Shane Cooper watching on from the bench. 10 minutes in the sin bin. He would prefer, obviously, to be out there and helping the cause. But there's this long kick downfield. Means that Saints have to retreat almost to their own line. And Alan Hunt will try and get away from Cassidy, but fails.
There's the flop. But was he taken down the first time? He's hurt. In a lot of pain. Well, this is a game that Saints will rue again. They know that they had it in the palm of their hands. Central Park has not been a happy hunting ground for them this season.
Here's Griffiths, and now Martin, ball away, Dwyer. Dannett, Joint.
They've really stepped up a gear, haven't they, this Wigan side? It was woeful defence in the first half. They were out of sorts. But St Helens, they gave them a couple of lifelines in the second half, and they gleefully have accepted it as the cherry and white.
Here's Connolly. That's good chasing by Griffiths. 6 minutes to go, 12 points the difference. Saints must score 3 converted tries, or 2 converted tries and a penalty. The sands of time beginning to run out. Betts keeps the ball alive to Farrell. Farrell just ambling his way across the field of play. Now Connolly.
Basic football from Wigan now. Nothing silly. Respecting the possession. Lydon with the kick.
And what's more, that kick finds touch perfectly. It will eat the seconds up for Wigan.
It's a great advantage to have substitutes like that. Joe Lydon. Bring them on, get the kicking game working again. So much experience in this Wigan outfit. And you can afford 2 substitutes like Joe Lydon and Mick Cassidy.
And you've got Paul Aitchison back on the field now for Barry John Mather. This is Dwyer. St Helens battling on with 12 men, with Shane Cooper in the sin bin. Martin to Griffiths, to Dannett. Sullivan to Griffiths. This is Martin. Gets the ball away, does Griffiths to Dwyer. It's the last tackle that for St Helens. Martin, left-footed, little kick over the top, well read though by Edwards. I think he went to take the pass himself, or the ball himself rather, but in the end just slipped the pass to Phil Clark.
Well, they were caught out in the first half with a little chip over the top with Wigan, but on that occasion, Sean Edwards making sure that he was there to sweep up. Really has been a great game. Both sides have produced some outstanding football. Great tries. In hot conditions, this has been a tough one.
Hall to Cassidy. Cassidy running strongly, ball in field to Edwards, who dabs it forward, the pace of a fire. He's quick, but he's not that quick.
Beautiful option, just a little bit too strong. They knew it was on. The fire was looping round the back of Edwards, but not even the fire could get that.
Pass to no one in particular. It bounced kindly for Rapati. Rapati, who, by the looks of things now, will be able to complete his travel plans home to Auckland. This is going to be St Helens' last game of the season, or is it? Here's Chris Morley.
He's done well as a substitute, Chris Morley, to say he's a forward. Slotting out on the wing there for the injured Riley.
Sullivan is after that kick through. But again, he is quick, but he's not that quick. Martin just not judging that one to perfection.
Just a little bit too long. The idea was there, though. It was a tremendous kicking game from Tommy Martin in the first half. Was Saints all the way for the first 40, and perhaps the first 10 minutes of the second half, where they really had Wigan on toast, and that missed opportunity by Anthony Sullivan.
Yes, that was the moment this game turned. From defending a big lead, St Helens were then level pegging, and from that moment on, Wigan have taken control, pressed their foot down on the pedal, and it is they who are aiming for the semi-final now. A home tie, of course, next weekend, because they finished as champions. And Shane Cooper waiting to return to the action. His 10 minutes in the sin bin having been served. Boddicker is hauled back. It was a collar.
It was across the chest, wasn't it?
Yeah. George Mann with the tackle. The ball downfield. Hunt says to Sullivan, "We'll go on, have a run." He gets away from Cassidy. And he gets away from Betts, and he gets away from Cowie, but he can't get away from Boddicker.
Good run from Anthony Sullivan there. They really haven't given the ghost up, have they, the St Helens side? But they found a different Wigan in this last quarter in defence. They had all sorts of problems early in this game.
Graham West just leaving the Erie that the coaches here at Wigan watch the game from, alongside us on the gantry. He would have enjoyed what he has seen, but he won't be enjoying this, as the ball is out to Morley, and then infield about 18 yards forward. And Boddicker picks it up and weaves his way up the field, gets it away to Martin Hall, and Hall will get the legs going, but he's collared by Alan Hunt.
Oh, good play by Hall there. He got up and played the ball quickly, but they've gone the wrong way. You can see the St Helens defenders just traipsing back on the far side.
Certainly the heat is taking its toll on these players late in the game now, as we're in stoppage time. They would be delighted to hear the siren. Connolly dabbing it forward, read well by Griffiths. I don't think any of them will be looking for warm showers. They'll want dousing down with some cold water after this. Cooper is back on, and he finds Harrison, who in turn finds Mann. Credit the Saints, they're not giving it up yet. Here comes Dwyer. Sullivan's with him, but Boddicker got to him first, forced the pass inside, and Panapa picked it up. Last throw of the dice, I think, that for Saints.
Well, they had to do the gamble, hadn't they? But it was a great run from Bernard Dwyer. He's worked hard. Some classic performances from both sides. Two hookers, Martin Hall and Bernard Dwyer. They've worked tirelessly all afternoon.
Wigan then now will try and play out time. 1 3/4 minutes of stoppages added by the timekeepers. Martin Hall still running strongly, finds a fire who couldn't wheel the pass in under pressure from Beavers. Dwyer to Harrison, inside to Joint. Good tackling from Farrell. That was forward pass to Alan Hunt, but Wigan aren't complaining. Dwyer again. Griffiths, chip over the top, off the arms of Betts. 6 to go for St Helens. Bernard Dwyer with the run. And straight into the arms of a fire. And then he nearly gave it to about row B of the stand behind the post, but Connolly got a hand to it, and Connolly will set off on a run. Edwards is inside it. There is Edwards. Here is a fire, and here is try for Martin of Fire, right under the sticks. 2 for a fire. No, it's 2, Martin, not 1.
It's become a disease. They've all got the noddies. Beautiful run there from Gary Connolly. It looked at one moment when Martin of Fire picked up that loose ball, he threw it back to him. But this man, doesn't he read a game well? Unselfishly offloads to the speed merchant, Martin of Fire. Wonderful to see in action. See the referee being pushed out of the way by George Mann. Wasn't going to stop this guy, though. Cool, calm and collected. Drags in the fullback, Alan Hunt. And Edwards says, come on, Martin. Show us your wares. Excellent stuff. And isn't he happy?
It's 10 tries in 5 matches for Martin of Fire now. Frano Bottiga jogging back. The conversion from bang in front of the sticks. A second to go. Straight and true. Wigan wrap up their victory. They're in the semi-final. Gary Connolly, who scored a try in the final for Saints last year, now finds himself in the semi-finals for Wigan this year. Wigan and Frano Bottiga have Old Trafford in their sights. Final score, Wigan 34, St Helens 16. It only tells half the story, though. It was a brave St Helens effort, particularly in the first half.
You're watching Sky Sport.
Dennis, for about an hour of that game you were struggling, then you scored what turned out to be a pretty crucial and decisive try.
Well, I just tried to run off Sean all day, really. I'll start giving me more passes like that in the weeks to come. I think today was a spectator's day, nice day, end-to-end stuff. Saints really made a game of it. Just turned out we got that little bit of an edge on them towards the end.
Hey, there was an outrageous dummy in that try of yours, wasn't there?
And that was me. I don't know, it just stuck all in my hands. I went to pass it and it wouldn't let go. I think I've just done automatic by that time.
You did really seem to start off very, very slowly today. Was there a bit of rust in the system, do you think?
Well, we won at Wembley last week.
Bit of lager, I think.
We won at Wembley last week. The lads have had a good week, enjoying themselves, really. You can expect a little bit of a slow start, but once we clicked into gear, everything seemed to come together for us.
Sean, as Dennis says, or as you said, a bit of lager in the system. When you've had a weekend like that, it must be hard to get back into the flow of things like this.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing to get back into is defence. It's the attack's not too bad because, you know, it comes sort of natural, but it's actually the toughness again stuck in defence. I had a couple of days off in London during the week and come back feeling kind of fresh, so I think it helped us in the second half. It certainly helped me because my legs felt really fresh in the second half.
Saints certainly made you fight all the way, didn't they?
They certainly did. Tell you the truth, I thought we'd be very fortunate to win today. We ended up winning in style against a very good team.
You say you had a couple of days off during the week. It has been a fairly turbulent week behind the scenes at Wigan. Did that get to the players?
Well, I don't know, because I missed most of it. I turned up for training on Tuesday and there was no training. I was only here. So I just went down to London and just chilled out for a bit. Got some level vibes and come back.
There's been talk of player power and things going on darkly. I mean, has it affected the players at all?
Well, we've won 2 trophies so far this year and we're in the semi-final of another. We just keep plugging on, try to do our job, what we get paid for, which, you know, we're very lucky to have jobs like we've got, because we love playing rugby.
Graham, off to a winning start, but it took a bit of time to get going today.
It was a very hard first half. We had the sun against us. We made too many mistakes, and St Helens played some good rugby.
Seems as though there was maybe a bit of rust in the system.
Well, there was, but they've been through a lot in this last week. They've had a change of coach and a change of change of training system. So I've got to take my hat off to them. That second half, they come out and played some good stuff.
Have there been much in the way of changes in the way you approach the game today?
Well, not very much, but you know they've had to cope with a change in the coaching system, and like I said, that first half it did show a bit of rust, but that second half I was really pleased with some of the rugby they played.
From your own personal point of view, it's an ideal start. Are you keen to make your mark in these last remaining games?
Well, I'd certainly like to. I've done an apprenticeship here for 5 years coaching the Alliance side, and I would certainly love to take the first team on a more permanent basis, but only time will tell.
But of course the best way to press your case is to win the Premiership.
Well, it certainly is. I've got some great players working with me, so that's all I can do.
Tia, a sad moment for St Helens, their supporters. You part company on a losing note, which is a bit of a downer.
Yeah, it's been quite a disappointing year for us, and it's finished a bit disappointing as well. Even considering that we competed in the first 40, you know, we've got nothing to show for it at the end. But we're just the lads are just going to have a summer break and try and rebuild and come back next year.
You certainly seemed, up to the first hour maybe, the keener side, if you like.
Yeah, we come out and, you know, we did everything that was asked of us, and we sort of maybe we shouldn't have gone in at half time and just carried on with the whole game. Maybe the break sort of broke our rhythm maybe, but that's the way it goes.
Conceding a try before half time, and that's one of the worst times to concede a try, isn't it?
Yeah, we would have been looking good going in, you know, 12-0 at half time, but they come back 12-6, and, you know, they're right back in it again. Really, we needed to come out and score the next points after half time, but like I say, it wasn't to be, and they sort of lifted a gear, and we perhaps didn't. So that was the story of the game, I think. And of course, Anthony Sullivan, just a few inches in touch, could have made all the difference. Yeah, well, that's a game of inches, isn't it? You know, and if he had gone in there again, you know, it would have perhaps lifted. That would have been the gear that we needed to go into, and well, never mind.
So a great win for Wigan here. St Helens, the holders, then bow out of the Premiership, and it means that 2 weeks today we will have a new name on the Stone Spitter Premiership trophy. But who will that name be? Two other matches being played today at the same time as this match at Central Park. Let's bring you now the highlights of Bradford Northern against Leeds and Warrington against Sheffield.
In-form Paul Newlove led Bradford into the Premiership semi-finals with a hat-trick at Odsal against beaten Cup finalists Leeds. Fairbank opened the scoring as Northern started strongly. Bradford need a Premiership win to get something out of a season that saw them finish frustratingly close to champions Wigan. A strong break by Fairbank set up an attacking position minutes later. Derek Fox, Trevor Clark, then Paul Dixon switched the ball out wide to fullback Dave Watson for their next score. Fairbank was involved again in their next effort, handing on to Paul Gratian and Trevor Clark, who made inroads into the Leeds defence. From the resulting play the ball, Derek Fox's clever chip through was pounced on by Paul Newlove for the first of his hat-trick of tries. Bradford were 18-0 up after 25 minutes, but Leeds, without Ellery Hanley and three others from their cup lineup, hit back briefly, firstly through Craig Innes, then through Graham Holroyd after he had collected Gary Schofield's long crossfield pass. After the break, Bradford began to dominate. Paul Newlove ran in his second try following poor defensive work by Leeds, and he was on hand to collect his hat-trick just minutes later, kicking ahead after Kevin Iro had apparently lost the high pass in the sun. More poor defensive work from Leeds allowed Darryl Shelford a run to the line, and the Loiners looked well and truly beaten. Bradford finished them off and booked their semi-final place with a fine individual effort from Neil Summers. Derek Fox adding 7 goals to complete a convincing win for the championship runners-up, a win that coach Peter Fox hopes will allow them to collect something from a season that at one stage promised so much. Sheffield Eagles celebrated their first ever First Division Premiership appearance with a fine win over Warrington. Darryl Powell shrugged off a weak Kevin Ellis tackle to send Richard Price in after just 6 minutes. The Eagles have twice won the Second Division Premiership in their 10-year history, and they started this campaign strongly. Mark Aston's kick sending Darryl Powell over for their second try. They took an 18-0 lead after Davis's kick was collected deep in his own half by Powell, who fed Stott. His strong run and feed to Richard Price, who in turn fed David Plange, sent them in at the break with a comfortable advantage. After the interval, Warrington fought back. Greg Mackey's long pass finding Alan Bateman, who forced his way over. But the Eagles were not to be outdone. Powell fed Frace, who stormed through a retreating wire defence to widen the gap once again and put the Eagles back in the driving seat. Frace got a second try minutes later. The defence once again suspect as he ran onto Bruce Maguire's inside pass. Warrington sparked brief hopes of a comeback for their fans when Kelly Shalford's barnstorming run was rewarded. And home fans' hopes were raised once again when the wire ran in another shortly afterwards. Gary Sanderson's strong break and feed sending Jonathan Davis over to cap a fine season for the Welshman. But it was the Eagles' day and they had the final say as substitute Ian Hughes went over for their 6th try 4 minutes from time. Sheffield, deserving winners, go on to the semis. Warrington's season is over.
So now you've seen all the action from today. We'll give you the draw for the semi-finals and where we shall be next weekend in a few moments' time. First of all, though, let's take you back to Friday night and Weldon Road. Castleford against Halifax. A match that we thought would be a cracker, and it turned out to be a classic. Last tackle here for Castleford in the danger zone. Blackmore's there. Ellis is there! And another try, Ellis! That's the magic 40!
Well, we just saw 2 previous tackles there. Roy Sutherland, the hooker, skirted away from the dummy half, and there was no one going with him. He's done it again.
Little dab forward. Has Sharp got the pace? I think he has. He's ruled the try. Southernwood, Bishop, Devorty, misses out Harrison, finds Schuster. Schuster on one leg is in. Russell. Oh, Stedman nearly dropped that one, but he's going to go under the posts. It's a rip-roarer of a game. Blackmore for the corner! Blackmore for the posts! Great try!
That's the type of thing that you see, the confidence come out. Lee Crooks.
Lovely kick through there, though, by Bishop. There's pace there, and he's in. Devorty is under the sticks. There they are, all lining up behind the defensive line. 4 minutes of stoppage time, 1 point the difference. Not the best pass, picked up by Castleford. They're home and hosed, courtesy of Blackmore. So the full list of results from the first round of the Stones Bidder Premiership. Division 1 tournament, Castleford 28, Halifax 23 on Friday. Wigan 34, St Helens 16 today. Bradford 42, Leeds 16, Warrington 16, Sheffield 32. So that means the semi-final will see Wigan against Sheffield and Bradford Northern take on Castleford. Now to the second division competition. Batley 28, Huddersfield 17, Doncaster 48, Dewsbury 18, London 66, Keighley 12, and Workington 50, Rochdale 6. Top 4 all winning then. It went according to plan. Workington now meet Batley and Doncaster take on London. So where shall we be next week? We're live and exclusive next Friday back here at Central Park for the champions against Sheffield Eagles. Wigan against Sheffield next Friday. We'll be kicking off at 7, the match itself at 7:30. And then on Sunday at 7 o'clock, a 3 o'clock kick-off at Hodsall for Bradford Northern against Castleford. Don't forget Boots and All, and this Thursday it's at 10 o'clock. Boots and All will review the Premiership and preview the semi-finals. Thursday night at 10.
England's beat